Hello guys, I hope you are doing good. So in today's video I'm going to tell you how I achieved serial communication between two applications to achieve haptic system feedback. This was basically my final year project in which I established a serial communication between Unity and Arduino. So what I did was I created 3 cubes in the Unity scene. So I had to use Hooke's law, F equals to kx. So in this, each cube had different k constant, or you can say different stiffness constant, and x is basically the deformation that the cube had to go through. Then we were calculating the force for each cube, right? So if f is equals to kx, right? So I gave initially k a number, such as you can see the cube 1 had a stiffness as 1000, cube 2 had 500, cube 3 had 1200. So each cube has different k constant, and then I was basically pressing on the top of the cube in the Unity scene. So the more the force is applied, so the more the output, or the corresponding servo motor connected to the Arduino was rotating. For example, if the force is between a certain portion or a certain set of values, so the servo motor was rotating accordingly, right? But if the force is higher, so the servo motor was also rotating to a higher degree. So for example, if force is 10, which is less, that means the servo motor will rotate 10 degrees. And if the force is, for example, 30 to between 30 and 50, so the servo motor rotates 60, 90, 180, 120, 180. So that's how I was using Arduino and Unity in this I used in my final year project. So I was basically setting up a serial port, as you can see here. So serial port SP is an object, so 9600 is basically the baud rate, and so I think I will also provide a link to this GitHub repo in the description, so you can clone and you can use it. If you can use it in any project. It doesn't specifically mean that you need to use it with Unity and Arduino only. So you can see over here I used force. If force is between these values, then I'm writing a character. Basically I'm writing a character to the port. I'm sending a value to a port, which means that rotate the servo motor to 30 degrees. If force is between these particular values, so it will send a character B, which will indicate the Arduino that you have to rotate the motor to 60 degrees, not 30 now. And if the force is between these values, so rotate the servo motor to 90 degrees, and then if between these, servo motor to 120 degrees. So basically servo motor was also collected, and LED was also connected, and a vibration motor was always connected also. So in this case, from Unity I was sending character A, character B, character C, character D, which indicated different meanings or different outputs, as you can see. So character A would indicate that you have to rotate the servo motor by 30 degree. Then character B would mean that rotate the servo motor by 60 degrees, and then character C would mean that rotate by 90, and then D by 120. And if the force is like if but this was basically on force cube 1, which had the stiffness 100 over here. So if the force is being applied to cube 2 instead of cube 1, so send character A if the force values are between these particular values. So character A in this case would mean that rotate by 30, and character B would mean rotate by 60. But instead of force cube 1 and cube 2, if cube 3 is being pressed from the top, or the force is being applied to cube 3, so A would mean rotate by 30 degree, B would mean rotate by 60 degree, C means 90, 120, 150 and 180. So basically we are sending these chars or characters to the serial port, so that the Arduino could detect it and can then make the servo motor, the vibration motor, and the LED motors which are connected work. So then this was the Arduino file which was receiving all the characters. Alright, so over here you can see that I had a white LED initialized, red LED initialized, vibration motor was initialized to a particular pin, and then servo was also initialized over here. And then I was attaching my servo. I began the baud rate again at 9600. From here also the baud rate should be same between in Unity and in the, so in over here also the baud rates should match, otherwise it won't be synchronized. And I initialize everything, and then later you can see if, so basically what it will do over here is, after we send the signal to the port from Unity to the port, so basically this Arduino code will check if the serial is available. So it will check if the character has been received is greater than 0. That means if the character is received at the serial port, then what it will do is it will perform these particular actions. And if serial dot read string is starts with A, or means that if it received a character A, that it would mean that it will set a timeout, and it will rotate the servo, as I mentioned before in Unity code, that it will send a signal to the servo motor to rotate by 30 degrees and with a delay of 0.2 seconds or 200 milliseconds. Then if it starts with B, that would mean to rotate by 60, then by 90, by 120, then 150 and 180. So this is what it basically means. So yeah, I think it might be a bit confusing, but I'll provide the link in the description, so you can basically clone the code and can understand how I achieved, because I wrote a lot of comments, so you will be easily be able to understand this. So I'll also now show a demo video how my project was working. So yeah, let's move on to that.